It gets a bit edgy in parts, but just stay with us, we'll get through it together. Okay, but she's just being real and honest. So in Leah's own words, I was born and raised Catholic, but around 15 years old, I began to drift from the practice of my faith. I lost my virginity at 15 years old, and unfortunately believed that because of my sins, I no longer had a place in the Catholic Church. I was scared that Jesus wouldn't really forgive me, and so I slowly did not practice my faith anymore. I stopped receiving the sacraments and stopped believing that God would really make me happy. That's when I began to look to the world, to popular culture, to give me what I wanted. I believed that to be somebody in this world, I needed to be rich, famous, and beautiful. This attitude led me to audition for the TV show America's Next Top Model. I was chosen to be on cycle 3, and this began my modeling career. After my time on the TV show America's Next Top Model, I decided to move to New York City and pursue modeling full time. I was able to get jobs from runways in New York City, with major clothing labels, and my picture was on the side of taxi cabs and on billboards in New York Times Square. I thought all this would make me happy. I thought making a lot of money, fame, and being told I was beautiful would make me feel successful and wanted. But none of these things made me feel happy, at peace, or fulfilled. I was surprised that all the fame, money, and popularity ended up making me feel more alone and empty. I always knew I was made for something great and thought that my life as a professional model was that something great. I received a phone call from International Magazine one day, and they offered me a modeling job that would show people a different side to me. The magazine mentioned that I had always portrayed a nice, safe look, but they thought I had something more to offer, that I could be sexy. I agreed to the photo shoot and thought it would help my career since the magazine is distributed all over the world. On the day of the photo shoot, I was feeling irritated with my current life. My living boyfriend for 2 years said he loved me but didn't think we were ready for marriage. My party lifestyle filled with drunken nights was getting old, and I began to question my purpose in life. I was tired of it all, but still decided to show up for the magazine photo shoot. As I got into hair and makeup, they wheeled in a rack of clothes for me to choose from. I did not feel comfortable with any of the outfits, and it then became very clear to me that the more they thought I had to offer was being a body to be objectified. I asked for a different set of clothing options to model, but was informed that if I did not wear what they offered, I had to leave. I was scared and embarrassed, so I told them it was no problem, picked out a few outfits, and the photo shoots began. Halfway through the shoot, I accidentally looked right into the flash from the camera. I asked for a few seconds to regain my focus. During the next 3 seconds, something happened that I did not expect or plan. As I blinked to regain my focus, I saw an image of myself inside my head, as if a little movie was playing. I was wearing the outfit that I was modeling. However, I had both hands cupped together at my waist, which I then raised all the way up as if I was offering them to someone. At this time, I felt a massive feeling of disappointment, and so brought my hands back down to see what was disappointing. As I looked into my hands, I saw nothing. Nothing. I had nothing to offer, nothing to give. A message was placed in my heart at this time that said to me, I made you for more. I made you for more. I knew that this message was true. I was made for more than the life I was currently leading. God had given me so many gifts and talents, but I wasted them all on myself. But the photographer began snapping his fingers saying, Leo, focus, let's get back to the shoot. But I couldn't. Regardless of my past, I knew God was speaking to my heart and reminding me of my dignity and call to greatness. I told the photographer I had to leave and began walking towards the door. Before I walked out the photo shoot, he said, if you leave, you'll be a nobody. All I could say to him was, do you promise? I had been away from my Catholic faith for over 10 years, and my sins and lifestyle I had been away from the Catholic faith for over 10 years, and my sins and lifestyle were not bringing me peace. However, a reminder that I had been made for more, and the promise of Revelations 21:5, behold, I make all things new, was enough for me to give God another chance. I knew I needed to change my life, but felt overwhelmed with all the choices of what to do first and how to do it. So I began first with God. The one step I was sure of was reconciliation. I needed to reconcile myself with God, to ask for forgiveness and the grace to live a better life. I had not been to the sacrament of reconciliation in years and was nervous, but I remembered again that I was made for more. And so I chose to go to confession immediately. In that confession, I did not pretend to be a better person than I was. I was honest and gave Christ all of me. In return, Jesus gave me absolute and complete forgiveness, peace, joy, and a new beginning. I believe Jesus was speaking to my heart during that photo shoot, and he is right. We are made for more. It is never a question of if God will forgive you. It is only a question of when, and we control for when. The mercy of Christ awaits all who seek it. I wish I had not been so selfish and prideful in my past, so that I could have begun my journey with Christ sooner. But fear kept me from Christ. I beg all Christians, do not allow fear to steal your joy and your place with Christ. St. John Paul II says, we are not the sum of our weaknesses and failures. We are the sum of the Father's love for us and our real capacity to become the image of his Son Jesus. You've been made for more. And so like Leo shares there, this book is basically full of spiritual and physical miracles. Life-changing miracles of the soul, as we hear from Leah there, also in the testimony of John Prigmore, the former gangster. And a number of stories where God really impacts someone's life, so nothing's the same again, everything's changed. They're transformed, renewed. You know, as Leah said, you know, Jesus' own words, behold, I make all things new. But then also as well, physical healings. Physical healings past current medical explanation. And one of those that I want to share now is from Sister Briege McKenna. And Sister Briege McKenna shares a number of stories, but one in particular I want to share is from a Eucharistic healing service that she had. And she talks about, here I share with you a few stories which I would call miracles of the Lord. The first story was told to me by a mother who came to see me about a month ago. Sister Briege, she said, this happened quite a while back and I've never had a chance to tell you. You and Father Kevin were ministering during a parish mission in the United States when my little boy was 9 years of age and had about 20 epileptic seizures a day. I was told that there would be a parish mission with a Eucharistic healing service, so I brought little Nick. When Father Kevin held up the monstrance, you told the people, this is Jesus. And reminded them what Jesus clearly told St. Faustina, I'm not an object, I'm a living person. This is the same risen Jesus, and I stress this. Well, my little 9-year-old was really listening. He knew that every day he had to take all kinds of medication. He couldn't play soccer. He couldn't play any sports because of the disease. As he was listening to you, he was also looking at Jesus and the monstrance. He was begging Jesus, and I could see that it was affecting him in his faith. After the service, we went home, but he didn't say anything. The next morning, when I had to give him his medicine, he said, I don't want it. I told him he had to take it as he wouldn't go to school without it. He said, Mummy, no, because I'm healed. Last night, Jesus was in the church and he told me I was healed when he was walking around. I looked at him. And part of me was so scared and I asked, are you sure? He answered, but Mummy, do you not really believe that's Jesus? Because in the middle of the night, he reminded me again. Today, my son is an engineer and he has never had a seizure from that night at the parish mission. And he is completely changed. So as I said before, the book is meant to affirm people in their own faith, but also as well, it's meant to be a great encouragement to those that have stopped going to church, to give them reasons to believe. You know, if it's happened for these contributors, it can happen for them. You know, I love that reflection that Scott Hahn talks about when Jesus in his ascension left us physically, but didn't leave us spiritually. And so all these power, all these grace, all these love, and all these mercies available to us all through the sacraments of the Catholic Church. You know, and so, you know, when Jesus comes back in his second coming, he won't have a drop more glory than what's already contained in Holy Communion at Mass. You know, in confession, all Christ's grace is there working through the priests in that sacrament. And so in all the sacraments, which the book covers, confirmation, marriage, holy orders, anointing, baptism, confession, it's to highlight what's always available to us all. And, you know, it's that kind of idea that, you know, I believe Jesus did the physical miracles to prove for all time what he could do upon our souls if we give him permission to. And the great miracle is a miracle of our soul, as our souls live forever and ever, as opposed to our bodies, which are made the temporal measures. And so we've been very blessed in this book for a number of contributors to get involved, and so kind and generous with getting involved. Got behind the heart, I guess, for evangelization of the book, and also to support the children's charity Mary's Meals, which is what the authorship profits go to. And so some of the people involved, obviously Cardinal Finch and Nichols, Jean Vanier from the L'Arche community, Cardinal Tagley from the Philippines, of course John Prigmore, Leah Darrow, who I mentioned, Father Cantley Messer, the papal preacher, Sister Briege I mentioned, and Jason and Kristalina Everett, Chris Stevanik, David Wells, Father Timothy Radcliffe, Jeff Cabbins, Father Leo, Patton Lug, and it's just a whole host of people. And some of the inputs as well are quite, are kind of sort of humorous. I sort of do a little sort of input and reflection in each chapter as well, to open up the church's teaching as well and a few stories.